Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the Managing Director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing the oft-discussed quarantine-free Phuket plan. And this has been discussed a lot. I've seen a lot of folks out in the press and a lot of folks just discussing this sort of in the expat community. But a recent article from the Bangkok Post, bangkokpost.com, article is titled PM Mole's Quarantine Quote-Unquote Bypass. And quoting directly from one small section of this, it says, quote, in July, Phuket will be the first province to waive the quarantine requirement for vaccinated foreign visitors who have been vaccinated as part of the government's plan to reopen the country. I'd like folks who are watching this video, emphasis on plan. We've yet to see this play out. Candidly, we're getting a lot of inquiries right now, folks talking to us or clients that we're working for to get them into Thailand, and they want a lot of clarification on what's going on with respect to the reduction in quarantine, the possibility of no quarantine in July. And the fact is, look, a lot of this is kind of up in the air, and it's sort of out there in the ether. I don't think it's too big a stretch to analogize the plan, if you will, to have a quarantine-free Phuket with the plan to have all the travel bubbles back last summer that got talked about, and then as it neared the time to actually implement it, it went away. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen here, but we've been burned before. We've seen, discussion of, a lot of restrictions being taken off, and then it's sort of rescinded down the road. I'm not saying that's going to happen here. We're certainly hopeful for as much reopening as we can get here in Thailand. I'm sure the tourism operators would love to get more tourists here. We all would. It'd be good for the economy. It'd be good for everybody. But I just think people need to be a little bit, and especially folks, I've seen this a lot where people are sort of saying, well, I'm not going to come now because, it may be quarantine free, or it's going, I hear it a lot, it's going to be quarantine free in July in Phuket. Well, maybe. Again, it's a plan. We've yet to see it rolled out. The other thing is, I kind of take the position, especially with respect to some of the folks we talk to who they're not exactly tourists. In fact, a lot of them are retirees, but they're sort of trying to, I get it. They want to avoid having to sit around in quarantine as much as possible, or at least mitigate it to the point where it's a quarantine that's not particularly long. I certainly understand that. That's not something that I can definitely sympathize. The point I'm trying to make is, to some degree, there is a level of this where it's like, well, you can kind of you're sort of waiting on the miracle, as it were, in that this Phuket's going to be open. You're just presuming that's going to happen. Well, we don't know that. And then you're sort of rearranging your plans and not getting here and really keeping yourself, kind of from enjoying Thailand if you just want to come and retire. To a certain extent, there's kind of like it's like pulling off a bandage. Just sort of suffer through quarantine and then be done with it. Because I'm not saying do that, but what I'm saying is it's a good idea to do kind of a cost-benefit analysis. Waiting around for months for something that may not happen versus taking steps now to just sort of get through it and then get on with your life. There's something to be said for that, or at least thinking that through. So again, remains to be seen what happens with Phuket in July. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but it's not here yet, and we've certainly seen a lot of things change over the past year since the emergency decree on COVID, and I'm certain we're probably going to see more things change as time moves forward. That said, the reopening of Phuket without quarantine remains to be seen, and we will keep you updated on this channel as the situation progresses.